Welcome to the unveiling of possibly the greatest mechanism, no offence to the other teams, that the world has ever seen. Maybe. So we were set a task. Everybody loves their dog. Everybody loves giving their dogs rewards. Not all of us are able to do that. We need to come up with a mechanism that we can fit onto a wheelchair that is going to allow the user to treat their dog for doing the things that we love. So, to start with, we are Team Yellow. I'm Chris.
I'm Rose. Rosie.
And we started yesterday morning on a long journey. We were given our problem statement, as I've just stated. So we come in, 5 engineers. Do we change our name? No. Let's worry about the important things. No offence. So we looked at our list of requirements, and as engineers do, we sat down and we thought about it mathematically, strategically, and came up with the best solution that we possibly can, and then changed it, because obviously that wasn't the best solution. So, what's the essence of what we're trying to do here? I want to reward my dog for the love they give to me, okay? And that's really important for people. I love giving my dog rewards. My dog loves receiving rewards. And we want that everybody can do this. So what were our problems that we had, and how did we formulate our idea? So, of course we had to come up with a cool name. And that didn't come till probably the end, once we'd worked out what our actual device looked like. But we came up with the name Treat Wheels. Thought, I might fit in with the whole Freedom Wheels thing as well, so hey, it's kind of tad related. And you'll probably see why we came up with that name when we give you our demo. So, what were our limitations and requirements? So, it has to be small and light. Okay, not too bad. Has to hold 15 treats or more than. And it has to be different treat sizes as well. So this is kind of the thing we're thinking. How are we going to hold 15 treats, dispense one at a time, different sizes, lots going on here. Okay, ideally we'd like it dispensed to the side of the chair, where the dog is at the feet, you know, so you're interacting with it. It's not chucking it out the back. I kind of had the idea of creating some sort of device that could flick the thing into the air. A little complicated for one day, so we chose not to. Maybe the team weren't quite as enthusiastic as me. So it needs to be automated for various disabilities. We've come up with one solution here today. Again, this can be adapted for a variety of options. Has to be waterproof, and it has to be as quiet as we can possibly make it. Okay, so if you're ready, shall we do the big unveiling? Slowly. Wait for it.
Nice.
Ta-da! So this is our device that is going to dispense a treat to our dog. So now, the moment of truth. Like every good prototype, it works at least 100% of the time. So we have gone for the voice activation method for this little demonstration. Of course, we can override that when the voice activation software gets confused. So we've got 3 code words: good boy, good girl, and treats. And we are going to demonstrate now the use of this.
Okay, I'll just give it a go now. Treats.
Oh! Almost. Try once more.
Treats.
Okay, so the tray may not be big enough or in the perfect location, but you know, it's a prototype, so we'll roll with that. Okay, so carrying on, we first thought, okay, so we've got this challenge, we've got a few bits, we're going to break this down into its components and go from there. So Vinny, I'll hand over to you to talk about the...
Yep.
Yep.
Chris. So we've got three core components. We've got dispensing, we've got the attachment, how it attaches to the wheelchair, and actuation. So onto dispensing.
I've got the microphone.
First, we wanted to figure out how do we dispense it. So there's two issues with here. We have storage. How do we store it in there? One of the problems was what happens if we get water in there? Everything's going to stick together. So we thought a massive container where we can just chuck everything in, that's not a good solution. We've gone with a compartment solution, and if we open that at a later time,
Oh,
we can show you what's inside.
It's time to refill, apparently.
Time for okay, so
So you can see we've got a wind vane design. So this is why we've called it a treat wheel. So we had various different methods of deploying the treat. We had a tube solution. We thought that wasn't the best solution for us because we rely on gravity to push it down. And our method of mounting initially was somewhere else, which I'll talk about later. We thought about a claw. We thought about a cannon. What's the issue with them? Can anyone tell me what's an issue with one of these solutions?
A claw might crush it.
death.
That's one of them.
On an extreme level.
For us, it was complexity. We want to make this accessible to everyone. There's already so much money that people need to spend if they're disabled, and we want to reduce the cost. So we wanted to reduce the number of moving parts in there, and all that's operating that is a servo motor and a controller. So we have gone with that. As you can see, it's a compartment, and every time this turns, one treat will pop out. If you're a little more generous, you might want to stick in 2 or 3 treats. The next component is attachment. Horizontal wheel. So initially, our design was to mount this horizontally and have the treat falling down the bottom. One of the issues was it extends the footprint of the wheelchair. We thought about mounting it underneath the chair. What's the issue there? To change it, very difficult. We thought that would be very annoying because Chris here was trying to mount it, and I'm sure he got a good workout yesterday. So what we did was we decided to flip it 90 degrees, 180, to make it fall out of the side. So this is quite compact, as you can see. It doesn't really increase the footprint of our wheelchair.
With a smaller motor, also this back contraption could be reduced.
Yep, and when we need to fill it, clean it, we could just attach it. So
that's the wrong side. Sorry, the lid's just not.
The lid was made this morning. Quickly.
So our third component is activation. So with what we had in our kit, we didn't have a button, we had an ultrasonic sensor, we had voice control, so we've opted for voice control. If you use a better microcontroller, obviously you have different avenues for activation, but unfortunately we didn't have them. If we keep running that, you'll hear
an alert that just tells you that it's empty so that you have to refill it.
Yeah.
Time to refill.
Right.
So simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. I think like we really want the whole process for the user to be as simple as possible. So basically all they need to say is like say, good boy, here's some treats, and then boom, treats come out. And yeah, they get it. And I guess, and then there's also a component for the carer. So what the carer do is, at the end of the day, they will detach a treat wheel and then refill the treat one by one, and then reinstall it back. And we actually run like a test of how long it will take, and the average turns out to be just a minute. And we only like tried it for 2-3 times. So like, if it goes through practice, it can even be faster. And then because everyone has different disabilities, and we really want it to be a adaptable and customizable solution. So actually, when we designed the wheel, the actual design file, we made it into a way that we can have very quick design changes. Like once we tell the dimension, it can just automatically change the whole side to update the size. So we can customize it in terms of the number and size of treat slots, for example. And also the attachment mechanism, as you can see right now, it's by Velcro. Also, if there are clamps on the side, we can just clamp it on. It's very modular, so it can be moved just on the side anywhere. And then also on the bottom part is the tray. It's a separate unit, so it's also it's up to the user to decide where they really want it to be at. And then actually, because of the design for customization, of course we came up with this just in 2 days, but for a full-on production though, we think that it can be done under a week. And we 3D printed the wheel part, which is the core component, and the lead time is around 10 hours.
So we're going to show the design file just to give you a quick demo on how easy it is.
So basically, it fits a certain size treat, and as they said, you can put 1 or 2 in there. But say you had more space and you had a bigger dog, so you wanted bigger treats, you can go into this file. No. So you just have to change at the moment it's approximately 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters. So you wanted 30. Change that one and the other one the same.
You must be enjoying this great demonstration of SolidWorks.
No, I'm cutting points myself rather than the program.
And it's now, so this size is about 14 centimeters in diameter, and this one, turns out to be about 20 centimeters in diameter with the bigger treats, so, but it's just that easy.
Yep.
Now we can
Export that, DXF, down to the 3D printer. We're away.
Or
with
STL for the 3D printer.
That's
Big pride.
So obviously, if you wanted, this is the one for 15 treat slots. We could make a file for 30 treat slots. So and then the same thing, you can have it bigger or smaller. It would obviously have to be a new file.
next slide.
Okay, so in terms of the budget, this is under $100, and if we get better components and probably source some cheaper components from online, things like that, we can get it probably a bit cheaper. For all the housing and all that, that's all 3D printed in-house, so it can be done quickly at TAD. It's pretty cheap to do the printing. We estimated it's about $6 for the plastic cost, for the food safe filament as well. And if you wanted to do large batches, you could do injection molding, but that's probably out of scale for this. For the electronics, we use what we got in the kit, but I don't think that's very suitable for an end product, and I would recommend probably using ESP8266 microcontroller. That comes points for about $8, and a stepper motor for about $30, and a rechargeable LiPo battery for $27.
5 minutes.
Yeah. For future improvements, we would like to have a more flexible activation platform, so use Google Home through like a Raspberry Pi or something, or do it through phone or an app, or a tactile button. We do want to build a bit more voice control functionality so it can do more things, maybe, and have a bit more robust voice control, because the system that we have right now isn't that great, and improve the waterproofing a bit more, because right now this isn't sealed, but we do have ideas for how to design it to be properly sealed.
Okay.
And that's it. If you guys have any questions.
Okay, so judges, questions?
A bunch of them again. Congratulations. Nice compact design. Love the idea of the cartridge, the rotation wheel. Reminds me of the old fish feeders and so forth that you'd get in the aquariums. Opportunities, that the variation to size of treats and being able to reduce or increase the rib count within a standard size might be a way. I love the simplicity enough that if you are out for the day, you actually might even carry an extra cartridge or something that someone can help you with. So the flexibility of what you're offering is terrific. The mounting, and again, both teams looking to integrate well into the side of the actual wheelchair and not intrude on anything beyond that is lovely. Maybe the ability to incorporate the feeding tray into the actual mounting frame or something could be an opportunity for you. Obviously you need to remove that and clean it after a happy camper's gone through many treats in the day. But again, a really lovely little solution, and nice, compact, cost-effective, intuitive, unit. So well done.
I think we saw a few options with the whole mechanism as a whole. So one, having it as one unit. So, but then again, looking at numerous variations of wheelchairs, there's so much flexibility. So with this, we're able to either install it like this, so it just drops down, simple. Again, it could be installed at the back if you've got enough height with some sort of tube that comes down into the feeding tray here. The main thing we wanted to get was this feeding tray in that location, and having it as two separate items gives the flexibility of moving that somewhere else on the wheelchair, so you're not limited.
I also like the idea too that the user gets feedback that you're going to be empty. Maybe you actually let them know you've got 5 treats left. Preempt the fact that, okay, I'm going to have to be sparing here. Otherwise, I have to find my own way home.
If we use the nice controller, then we could even have like on your phone to tell you how many is left.
But again, just some nice thoughts as to back to the user and thinking of the animal. Just some really clever, thoughtful ideas there.
Do you think this could have commercial application beyond people with disabilities? I'm thinking about people who work long hours and have dogs at home or cats at home, and other markets you might be able to tap into.
Even like if we use that controller, we could control this from anywhere essentially, as long as you got an internet connection. So you could be out and about. This could be just at home, and then you could dispense it for your dog or like wherever you are.
And you can basically mount it anywhere. Just stick some Velcro up and stick it on.
Congratulations. I think the only thing missing from your demo was the actual dog.
Did think about bringing one along, but
so just blown away by the quality of what you're going to achieve in the time. But I'll leave some time for questions from the floor.
Do you guys think you could prevent the treats from jumping out by using a soft material?
Yeah, so that our tray's a little bit small. We wanted to put some foam inside it so it would cushion the impact a bit. It's small at the moment.
Or a little slide, like a guide to guide it into.
We all know that moment at about 5 o'clock last night where you go, oh, this needs to go somewhere. And test it, and so, yeah.
Well, you were talking of catapults and cannons, so.
You know when you've got a really good idea in your own head and no one else can work out what's going on?
Does anyone else having a stream of like taking Clifford's eye recognition and taking it with like ear dispension method?
Yeah.
And like that's like the ultimate, I think.
Yeah.
Like that seems
Yeah.
to be really good.
I was hoping some of my team members might be able to help out with that, but
There you go, like a baby monitor.
Okay, do we have any more questions? If not, we'll thank the yellow team. Thank you very much.